Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two bourbon whiskey. Could say American bourbon whiskey, but that's the only type of bourbon there is. American has to be from the United States of America. Just like you don't have to say French cognac. There is no other type of cognac. Now, yak. Here is the Blantons. I saw some Blantons coming in today. $60 a bottle. $60 a bottle. Of course, it might have gone up with the United States government's inflationary policies. My daughter told me yesterday on the phone, I don't understand what inflation is, so I had to explain it to her. And then she understood a good deal better. But her major in college is English, not economics. Okay, there's Kings County Distillery Peated bourbon. This is made with peated malt, and it's aged 2 years. So Blanton's no age statement. Some people give different guesses, but there's no official age statement. Good morning, Ron. Yak. Don't talk back, Sister Dixie Baseman. B Aviation says, good morning, Ron. Good morning to you. So I don't actually know if I have enough Blantons left to do a taste challenge. I saved this. It's obviously non-chill filter because it's full of sediment. A lot of Sazerac. Buffalo Trace is owned by Sazerac. If you notice, a lot of Sazerac products will have gunk, look like gunk in them, sediment. The lower you get in the bottle, you don't turn it over and back and forth. And I haven't thought about doing that with these. It just settles. So I don't think they chill filter their beer. That may not appeal to you. You might say, I don't want to drink whiskey that's got gunk in it, George Dickel would be a good choice then, because Dickel does chill filter their whiskey, and they brag about it, how that makes it better. You caught COVID, unfortunately. Well, yeah, I'm sorry, but it's like catching a cold. You're going to catch one invariably. So even the government has admitted, well, everybody's going to catch it, And then they admitted this morning, that guy Anthony saying, we'll probably just be able to go back to normal now, and it's just going to be around basically like a flu or a cold. It's just going to be around, something to live with. So after all of this hype, I'll talk about, go get it, take it, get a second one and get a third, and you have to do it now. They're admitting, well, that didn't really work. Hopefully there's no negative side effects. We'll find out, won't we? All right, long-term side effects. George Curry said, you ever heard of Hop Butcher of the World? Yes, but I don't know a thing about it. Okay. So here's the real corks, not particle board. When I say particle board cork, I really mean it's a particle. It's chips of cork obviously glued together with some kind of resin to make a hunk. But this is a pure hunk of cork, not glued together pieces. See, I'm going to save this as a souvenir. Thank you, Sonia, for this gift. She gave up drinking after her accident. She used to drink pretty regularly. Good drinker, and always drank. She always drank quality stuff. But she was riding her bike down the street in New Orleans, and a guy opened his car door and bam, hit her in the face. She had stitches and some kind of operations and stuff, and she recovered, but she said after that, she just never wanted to drink again. So strange, but she had a bottle of Blanton's, which she'd only drunk if 5% of it maybe. And she had an unopened bottle of Woodford Reserve. And she said, you can have them if you want. I'm never going to drink them. I said, you got it. That's a deal. I feel pretty bad. I had 101 fever and I got both of those. Yeah, see, they didn't work. Oh, I'm sorry you had that fever. I had a fever in December 2020 when I got that illness. And I assume I had a fever. I didn't take my temperature, but I felt kind of bad for one day, only for one day, the Tuesday, December 23rd. And still went walking, 1.5 miles. Did my normal activities. It just felt kind of ragged, so I went to sleep early that night, 6 o'clock. As soon as it got to 6 o'clock, I said, I'm going to sleep. I was knocked out too. But the next day, Wednesday, I woke up feeling perfect. I mean, really feeling fine. Just, with a persistent cough, dry cough. That went on for, if it was 2 weeks, it was a long time. I don't think it was that long. My breathing was a little like wheezing or whatever, like, kind of thing. But on Christmas Day, it really kicked in where I couldn't taste or smell anything. And I thought, this is really strange. And it went on for 10 days. 9 days, I guess. Yeah, about 10 days, because it started before Christmas. And then my smell was messed up for like 6 months. When I smelled things, it didn't smell right. But I had read about that, so I figured it'll go away, I hope. And it did, thankfully. But people kept telling me, go get tested, go get tested. I said, is that going to make me get better? No answer. They had no answer, of course, because obviously it wouldn't. So it went away. I would do anything to fight the bug, but I won't get, what? Rest in peace, Meatloaf. Yeah. Poor old Meatloaf. He is very ill. Whatever he died from, he had a lot of medical problems. Going back really to the 1970s, because he was very overweight. His diet, which included lots of pills and other illicit substances and a lot of drinking. It just was sad. Also, you ever heard of the treehouse? I heard of treehouse, but like so many, we can't get them here. Just can't. Not yet. Couldn't happen tomorrow. What you doing down there? Being good? You just sit there while I do this taste challenge. You hear? You just stay right on that carpet. Yeah, well, that's perfect. Where you were is perfect. Perfect. This feral cat that adopted my yard, front and backyard. Now she's in the house. She was scared to come in the house at first. Now she wants to get on the bed, get on my head on the bed. I said, oh, no. Are you in your pub shed? No, I'm in an office. An office. It's like literally an office. What kind of business do I do in this office? Comic books and alcohol. And doing my budget, my finances, which is not very complicated. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. This is not going to work. Look, there's not enough. Look how thick that is. I'll try. I guess it'll work, but it's not going to really be a good taste challenge. But we'll see. B aviation message retracted. Wish I could retract every message I ever put. Not every message, but many of them. After I wrote them, I was like, It's not that I regretted what I said. It was maybe the tone, how I said it or something. I was like, Now, this is the particle board cork. If you notice, it's pressed together cork. It's not an actual hunk of cork. And it's very tight. It's like a little bit too big, but I guess they really wanted to seal it. So thank you, David Garlapie, for this gift. I think it's about $65 a bottle in this medicine-shaped bottle. Similar, a little thicker, not as narrow as the MD 2020 bottles. The wine that comes from New York. Also, Mogan David 2020 wine, which the nickname is Mad Dog. I feel similar to how you did, but really fatigued. I slept probably 18 hours yesterday. Golly, you got a bad case of it. Am I a fan of Roquefort? Oh, yes, indeed. Roquefort 10 and all of that. Oh, yeah, it's expensive. George Curry. Thanks for watching, George Curry. I appreciate it. Don't they have a rubber-like cork now? These are cork. Oh, there are rubberized corks that are on some liquor. Yeah, it looks like it's neoprene to me, which DuPont makes. It's at the bottom of all the tennis shoes, neoprene. It's that soft, spongy rubber. It's like resilient. DuPont elastomers. I think that's called DuPont elastomers. EI DuPont demurs. They make elastomer, don't they? Yeah. So amen, says the Dixie Basement. So I'm sorry, B Aviation, you feeling bad? I guess it depends on, it's like the flu, you know, some people, they feel kind of ragged, and other people, it kills them. I got the flu in 1994 and I felt bad. I mean, it hit me like sitting at a desk like I am now. When I was at work, I was feeling good, and the next second it hit me, I felt bad, like something came over me. Same thing with that Cocoa V last year and a half ago, but a year ago, about over a year ago. And I felt so bad with the flu. Laid in bed for 3 straight days, never got out of bed, except, you know, go to the restroom and eat. Felt like hell. And I was weak for like a month. A month after I had it, I was weak. I wasn't steady on my feet. Never caught the flu again after that. I guess I had such a bad case, it made me have a super immunity. Because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's a song or something like that. Or some slogan that people like to say. You could get hit by a car. It may not kill you, but I don't know if it'd make you stronger. It might make you disabled for life. But, you know, people like these slogans that they don't think about too much. You know, they don't. I know what they mean. It like toughens you up, but not necessarily true. Oh, this smells like whiskey saturated wood. Now, you saw how thick and gruely looking thing looked like oatmeal. You saw how thick that Blanton's was. I think I'm not going to have much of a challenge here, but we'll see. I'll tell you what about Blanton's. If you ever buy a bottle, you might want to turn it upside down every time you drink it, so that it's not like clear at the top and gunky at the bottom, because that's what's it's gonna settle. It's gonna get kind of icky looking, kind of like these beers. You know, a lot of these unfiltered beers, there'll be a lot of sediment going to the bottom. Nose tie, I can't really tell. Price same, $60 to $65. So you're gonna pay the same. I probably can get Kings County easier than Blanton's. I saw it came in yesterday, and one local store, well, 30-something miles away, was saying, come get it, because we're not holding it. No holds this time. No name signing up on a list and all that. You either come get the Blantons and buy it, or you're not going to get it. I'm sure it sold out before the end of business yesterday. I'm sure Mathern sold all theirs for end of business yesterday. And Weller came in, you know, the green label Weller. And Eagle Rare. They got a bunch of Eagle Rare came in. But the distributor guy told me wasn't nearly as much as we had ordered, but we got to take what we can get with you know, with the scamdemic going on and everything. All right. 93 proof versus 90. That's close, but it is a difference. Woo, that's strong. Whoa. So much wood taste. It's got to be the Blantons, because Blantons, that's probably a bunch of wood sediment. I'm drinking wood. Oh no. All right. Ooh. I don't really pick up the peat. But the thing that's differentiating it here is this one just tastes thinner. Like it's not as thick bodied. And I think that's because of the sediment issue. So does one taste better over the other? Not really, but you know, to be honest, Blanton's has lost a few taste challenges to much cheaper products. And you might say, no, 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 Blanton's is premier. Everybody runs after that, and it's got a horsey on the cap and all of these things. And I know that, but I just have seen Blanton's get beat by some much cheaper products, and I don't favor whatever you think. And some people have these thoughts that I like favor certain products over the other, and I'm cheering them on or whatever. I'm not. I don't care. I don't make these products. I have no investment in any of them. I don't. I just taste them and say, this is one I think tastes better. And if they're a tie, I'll say, well, I don't know. It's kind of a wash. And then in that case, it would be the cheaper one that wins by default. In this case, it doesn't matter because they're the same price, so there is no default winner. Could these things end in a draw? Well, yeah, of course. Just like an NFL game can end in a tie. College football used to end in ties, and then they got this bad idea in 1995 to adopt overtime. Seemed like the overtime will last longer than the game. And they say, the winner. Oh, yeah, because you placed the ball close to the end zone, and each team took turns trying to score. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, the winner. Kind of like a shootout in hockey. They ought to not do that. They ought to just let it end in a tie. Maybe have that, of course, in the playoffs, because you got to have a winner. But all this dragging the game out, I don't like it. I don't mind the NFL overtime because it's only 10 minutes now, and it goes kind of fast. But you know, until 1974, they didn't have overtime in the NFL. All games ended in a tie if the teams had the same score at the end. That was it, tie. They had a lot of tie games, and except for the playoffs, of course, they would have to have overtime, and that didn't happen. Sudden death. Of course, you know, the only NFL game with sudden death overtime was 1958 championship. I know the Falcons and the 49ers, no, it wasn't the 49. The New England Patriots, that was a modified sudden death. Because each team gets a turn. But, you know, with the Colts and the Giants, it was just flip a coin, kick it off, and whoever scores first wins. And if you don't get to touch the ball, too bad for you. Grow up. It's the NFL. It's not baby cry. It is now. Of course, NFL's baby cry now. But they tell you stuff you know already. Stop racism. These slogans. I'm like, oh, I'm glad the NFL told me that. I thought we were supposed to promote racism. God, I was so confused. Or, you know, promote social justice, or let's all team up. It takes all of us. I say, boy, they really look down on their fans. They must think all their fans got no kind of sense, or are all evil. The good old National Socialist football cartel. Oh, well, who cares? The games are boring anyway. All right. Yeah. Okay. I think I could tell them apart, but as far as who's better, I'll just call it a washout. It's a tie. So it's a pick 'em. Take your pick. You want Bland's? Buy it. It's going to cost you about $60. You want Kings County? Buy it. It's going to cost you about $60. So no winners, no losers. And I know you might say, but wait a minute. Hold on. Didn't you say some much cheaper bourbons beat Kings County? And they had not won a taste challenge yet? I did say that. And I stand by that. And it doesn't mean that it's not that good. It just means that those cheap bourbons are much better than you would imagine. And a tie is a result. So Kings County has no victories, a number of losses, and a tie. Now, my friend Tom told me I consider a tie a loss. I said, I don't consider it a loss. You didn't win. You didn't lose. It's a draw. Oh yeah. And another thing about the NFL, they used to not count ties as part of the team's record. It wasn't listed in the stand. It wasn't part of the standings. I mean, they would list it unofficially, but it didn't count as a, part of the team's record if they finished 6-5-1. Their official record was 6 wins, 5 losses, and the other one was like a throwout game. But then they went back later and said that's kind of stupid. It's kind of a foolish thing to not count it. So they retroactively went back and reconfigured it to the team's records because, everybody knew they tied. You could say, oh, it doesn't count, but you played. Everybody knows they played. So, and it counted far as the statistics, like yards rushing and all. It just didn't count in the record. So that just was like a nonsensical kind of thing, All right. Well, I got it wrong. Couldn't even tell them apart. So this was the Kings County, and I thought it was Blanton's because I thought it had a thicker taste. So now you could say, well, you didn't have enough to sample. It was a little bit. Well, maybe, but it's okay. It was enough, I think. It was barely enough, but not as much as I would have wanted to sample it. But so what's coming up tomorrow? Well, I'm planning on doing Stedman Select. And I can get a 1,750 milliliter bottle for $20. Hard to believe, huh? Aged 3 years. So not aged a long time. Sour mash. And it's 86 proof. And you say, don't tell me that's another Sazerac brand. Okay, I won't tell you. But that's where it is. And we're going to go up against Kings County. And another week, I guess it's another week left on bourbon. Then we'll go to blended whiskey. And I have one I've done a review for years ago. It's called Kessler, Julius Kessler blended whiskey. It's got a higher straight bourbon percentage than most blended whiskeys. Most blended whiskeys is 80-20, 80% grain spirits, that's unaged corn liquor, and 20% bourbon. Usually, but don't have to use bourbon. They can use anything they wanted, corn, straight corn liquor if they want it. But they usually use bourbon because it's so common. But the Kessler is 27.5% straight whiskey versus 20. So it's got a richer bourbon taste. Even though it's got a cheap price, I paid $12.99 for the handle. And I'm going to go against all the other ones I have. I think Kessler's going to it's going to win most of the challenges. It probably won't beat Seagram's. Seagram's is 25% straight whiskey, but I'm talking about Seagram's 7 Crown. But it'll be a real challenge. It'll be a war, It'll be a great one. Anyway, let's go to the last comments. What is my favorite Trappist ale? West Flatirron 12. Yes. How many different products does Sazerac make? Must be hundreds. It's got to be, because every time you turn around, you say, what is this product? I never heard of this. Oh, there's Sazerac again, lurking around. I'll give you a perfect example. I was reading about this liquor store in Prairieville. I had been there before, but they were in a different location, south of Interstate 10, but now they're north of Interstate 10. Because they've got a bigger building, you see. Probably one that they own instead of renting. So I was looking at the website. I was looking for Crown Royal XO, but they didn't have it. Nobody has it, irritatingly, right now. So, but they had this other Canadian whiskey called Canadian Peak, P-E-A-K, but a mountain, in a cut, kind of fancy looking bottle. I said, what is Canadian Peak? So I looked it up. Been around since 1961. Used to be just a shabby old cheap Canadian whiskey, but they I said, who makes this? I found out. I said, oh, look at them, Sazerac. And they reformulate Now, I don't know if they reformulated it. They repackaged it. I'm saying they repackaged it to be nice looking. And I got a feeling they did that recently to compete with Crown Royal because Crown Royal hadn't been showing up. There's been a shortage of Crown Royal. So something tells me Sazerac put a fancy outfit on Canadian Peak and got all the distributors to put it on the shelf next to Crown Royal, because it's next to Crown Royal and all the in that store. And it's a purple label. And even a guy, I saw the salesman telling a guy, well, we have this off-brand. It's not really fair because it's not an off-brand. Well, I guess it is because it's not Premier, but it's an old brand, you know, been around 1961. And the guy just totally ignored that because, you know, most consumers, if they're a Crown Royal guy, they ain't buying some other brand, even if it's better. They're not gonna give it a chance. No way, Jack. The guy was looking for Crown Royal Black, and he's like, we don't have any Crown Royal Black. He's like, oh man, I don't know. I guess I'll get the purple. He said, I could get the reserve, but I ain't paying that much to get drunk. That's what he said. They obviously a bunch of guys wearing camo. They probably going hunting. He said, I want 4 bottles of VO. No, what he said, I want 3 handle bottles of VO. And he said, I tell you what, give me 4 of them, 4 handles. And I need a Crown Royal Black. He said, we don't have any. But they're about to get busted up at the camp, hunting camp, I guess. I said, oh boy. Y'all think VO's not popular? You're wrong. That's a perfect example. And they were buying Canadian whiskey, VO and Crown Royal, and going to have a good time. But that guy tried to show him that, and he just ignored it. It's funny though, because he was buying VO, and who owns VO now? Sazerac, for the last 6 years. No, last 4 years. Another thing I saw over there was something called Iron Wheel. Iron Wheel American Blended Whiskey. Kentucky Blended Whiskey, 25-75 ratio. Another Sazerac. It was $8.99. Of course, I bought it. A third one I saw was something called how you say it? Hervey. It's the French word for Harvey. Hervey. Brandy. Hervey. Brandy. $8.99. And I checked. Oh yeah, Sazerac. I said, these guys here put out new brands like most people start a new day. Hervey. It's the French word for Harvey, and it means, in their language, it means battle ready, like a knight ready for battle. And they got the package made up like Middle Ages, you know, knighthood, and kind of neat looking label. I'm sure it's cheap tasting. The NFL single-handed. Oh, at those prices, I'm not surprised they didn't put holds on them there. You go again, Ron, triggering the idiots on both sides of the political spectrum. Yeah. I don't want to say idiots. Some are, but most people are just ill-informed and hot and what you say, volatile. They fly off the handle. The NFL single-handedly ended racism by putting in racism on the helmets. Laughing out loud. And that's a good thing. It took the NFL to end racism. What's your favorite Trappist ale? I already said that one. How many different products does people who complain about draws in football and taste challenges are like modern sports fans getting mad about the NWA versus WWF championship matches ending in 1 fall apiece draws. Cheers. Louisiana Liquor Reviews still giving up whiskey for Lent. Yes, probably so. All liquor. Drunk Northern soldiers with guns that's never started any problems in the South. Right. No. They are. Remember, the Union soldiers behaved perfectly when they were down here. 300,000 of them stayed here for good. You know what I mean? All right. Thanks for watching this video production. Time to go watch the news.